Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of our Yes Golf review. We're in a different place today.
Yes, we are.
And different hair, Jay.
I don't have the hat. Yep.
Well, this is what Jay looks like when he doesn't have a hat.
I do have hair.
Yeah.
I do have hair.
He
Yeah.
works at a K-pop. I don't know.
Oh, come on.
This is K-pop
Yeah.
Jay, everybody. But we have other interesting things to say other than your hair.
Yeah.
As you have clicked on this video, this is going to be, I know the zero torque putters, the lap putters are the thing that's the hot topic right now. When it comes to putters, when it just comes to any golf equipment right now, it seems like every week there are tour pros who are adopting into these lap putters, and it's translating very well to amateurs. So there's a lot of interest in lap putters, and I dare say this is the last video you will need to watch about lap putters.
Hopefully. Yep.
Hopefully. Yeah, that's our goal. So we're going to cover all the questions that we normally get here at our Yes Golf shop here in La Habra, California. And we'll start with, Jay, what is a zero torque putter?
Right. So the term zero torque can be misleading a little bit, but just it's the new type of putters that we have nowadays that aren't face balance or they don't have toe hang. It's just a different way. I think it's a nice grouping name to call this new batch of putters that L.A.B is at the forefront of.
L.A.B basically kind of brought it. It has existed before, it seems like, but
It's been around for a while.
L.A.B putter kind of brought it to a forefront of a lot of people's attention. Definitely caught the eyes of a lot of tour players. But you most likely, if you're interested in the L.A.B putter or you're watching this video, most likely came across the CEO of L.A.B putter doing the revealer test. And that kind of shows you another easy way. Jay, you had another easy way to explain that.
Yeah.
So we have another brand's zero torque putter.
Yes. So yeah, we don't want to hate on other brands.
Yes.
But basically speaking,
this is Odyssey.
This is an Odyssey. It's a jailbird. It's their
Call
version.
it out, bro.
It's their version, right? It's their version of, they call it square to square, right? It's their version of a zero torque putter. So it's like these are not traditional, face balance or toe hang. These are the new type of putters that they're coming out with. And one thing that you notice is that if you try to balance it, like the traditional versions, they would be a face balance, right? So this would be face balance. This one, you can notice that whatever angle you put it at, it will tend to stay there.
Stay there.
So like if you want it straight up, it will tend to stay there. If you want to put it like down there, it will tend to be shut.
Yeah.
If you tend to open up, it'll tend to open up. So it's almost like the term zero torque comes from here, that it looks like it has no torque. There's no torque or no gravity or anything that makes this biased to one way.
Yeah.
Right. So that is probably why we're calling all of these zero torque putters.
Yeah.
Whereas I can tell you,
we can use this one.
yes, for example,
the DF3 putter.
this is a DF3, a L.A.B DF3. Now this one, you can say that if you balance it, if you start balancing, it will always want to try to stay pretty square.
Yeah. So
perpendicular.
Go ahead and twist it the other way.
Right. Yep.
So if it twists this the other way,
you see that it will try to rotate back, roll back, right? Same thing if it's closed.
Yeah, perpendicular to the ground, so straight up, which means it will be more square to the way you set up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So another way you explained it, just we started recording, was that you don't need to. The others, like if you have any sense of put it on the ground, it will stay square.
Right.
Right. Even the other ones. But L.A.B putter, you don't have to exert any energy to keep it square.
Exactly. So you end up putting less effort into trying to keep it square. Is pretty much the bottom line. Yeah.
And practically speaking, basically it helps you to stay square through your stroke.
Yes.
More than any other types of putters that have toe hangs. Some that may benefit. We don't want to say that's a solution to all putter issues. Some people actually like to use the toe hang to putt.
Exactly, right. So that was the feel of you trying to control the face, and you want to have some sort of control by using your hands to shut the face, to make it square to hit the putt that you want.
Yeah.
And this goes to if you want to go dive into history, this goes back into the days where greens weren't as fast as they were now. So you actually had to put on that type of shutting stroke in order for you to hit the ball a certain distance. Greens were slower.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so that's why those type of toe hang putters were the predominant type of putters that were used throughout. And you know, as the days get better, the greens are faster, and you don't have to smash it or smack it or whatever you don't have to exert that much force.
Yeah.
So basically nowadays all you need to do is just tap it and it'll go all the way. So
exactly.
there comes the issue of now you don't have to try to control the face to shut because the toe is heavy. Now you want to try to minimize that, and that's where face balance putters started creeping. Like, and you know, mallet putters are pretty much how face balance putters are kind of grouped into.
Yeah.
It depends on the type of neck, of
You're
course, but mallet putters usually have the double bend neck, and that's why they're face balanced.
Yeah.
And it's easier to just have a straight back, straight through kind of stroke. Yeah.
So the reason why I think the L.A.B putter have kind of gained so much momentum, attention, you can say, and it's being adopted into, and you can see it in market share of the putters. I think like last month I've heard something like in the putter category, L.A.B was in the United States one of the most sold putters in that category, which is crazy because that has always been kind of given to Odyssey or Scotty Cameron, something like that. But L.A.B putter has just taken this category into storms. And one of the reasons why I think that is because if you look at traditional putters or even equipment, it's always started at the top where the tour pros are playing.
Yes.
You see it on TV,
Right.
and then people are buying it basically because that's what you see on TV.
Exactly.
Right. But I think this is the other way around where the pyramid has kind of flipped upside down, and it's helping a lot of amateurs first. And obviously, because of that, it will also help the tour pros.
Yeah.
So I think it's just something that a lot of beginners or someone who has struggled with puttings can get a very quick result.
Yeah.
So we would definitely suggest you try it anywhere. Obviously, we have it here. But another thing that we want to talk about is the ability to get what's something different about the L.A.B putter versus the Odyssey or some other zero torque putter is the ability to get fit.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is huge.
It is
right?
very huge.
Yeah,
yes.
so I'm going to explain it a little bit. And Jay, feel free to chime in any way. But don't get like too intimidated by the word fitting, because all there is two-step process where we measure the desirable length of a putter. Right. So usually, you know, if you go to a local shop, most likely you'll find 34 inches and 35-inch putters.
Somewhere around there,
Right, somewhere around there. You can get a shorter putter for 33, but this allows for you to go all the way down, I think, to like 31 inch, and you can go all the way up to, I think, 37 or 38.
38, I think is
38.
Yeah.
So if you're if you're a tall person, obviously you'll benefit more potentially from the longer putter.
Right.
If you're shorter, like women, juniors, you'll benefit a lot from shorter putters.
Yeah.
So we have this putter fitting kit where you can adjust that. So I'll put it at 30, let's say 31 and 32 and a half. Say that.
All right.
And then we can change. Did you know this, actually, if you let it go? I didn't know this, but it stands by itself. It stands by itself.
Yeah, this is...
I don't know why they don't advertise it, but...
Well, so I don't know if it's by design.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is very funny because I was doing a grip change once. I took the grip off and then it just stood by itself.
Yeah.
I was like, mind blows.
Mind blown, yeah.
I saw this in an infomercial
Yeah,
somewhere,
I know,
probably
exactly.
at midnight on Golf Channel somewhere, right? Yeah.
There's actually a putter brand that kind of, this is the whole,
does that, right?
whole
Yeah,
technology.
yeah.
So that wasn't the point of this. But basically, what I love about the ability to get fit with this is basically you can imagine someone standing or you standing there,
Right.
and wherever your posture lets your hands to be, is where this handle can go, and this is your lie angle, basically. So most of the lie angles of a traditional putter comes in 70 degrees.
Right.
Right, and a lot of people don't change that. And basically they stand to fit themselves into a putter.
Right.
The standard lie angle of lap putter is 69.
Yes.
And then, but most of the customers that we see, we do fitting for, they have something other than a 69. What's the benefit of being fit for a lie angle and length?
Right. So the lie angle is so important, right? Because if you have your lie angle just upright, for example, right, and this is just you having the square, the face square to your target line, having the face upright and hitting the ball will impart your ball to go left.
Yeah.
And same thing with the other way. If your toe is up and you're hitting the ball square, your ball is going to tend to veer off to the right.
Yes.
Yeah. And just by that, you think that this face is square, and you think you did everything right.
Yeah.
But just by a couple of degrees being off, you're going to have a certain bias on your ball, on your initial ball roll. So that you won't even realize what you're doing wrong, and you're going to be thinking so many different things.
Yeah.
Oh, was my swing off, or is my aim off, or did I not read it correct? But it could just be the fact that your putter was just not flat on the ground.
Yeah, that's a great point, because if you basically, like, you slice a driver or you duck hook a driver, well, that doesn't only happen because of a lie angle, but basically you're putting side spin on your ball just by having I don't want to say wrong, but
so it's technically your axis of spin is going to be tilted towards where how much of a lie angle it is.
So so if you have lie angle set to wherever your comfortable position is, that basically eliminates a potential for that doesn't solve your stroke issues, obviously, but it helps you to make a stroke and for that stroke to produce a result that you desire.
Exactly. So, and to flip that around, there are a lot of people that, like you said, mold themselves to the club, right? And some people will realize that, oh, my toe is hanging up. I have to put it flat on the ground. And by doing that, that would put you into a very uncomfortable position.
Exactly.
And uncomfortable usually leads to not being able to do that over and over again.
Exactly.
So every time it's going to be just a little different. So that leads to inconsistency, and your putting isn't going to be great.
Yeah. And if you're uncomfortable, that also means like you have a pressure and you're like tightened up, and that sort leads
you're gonna develop bad habits.
Yes, that leads to all sorts of different problems within your stroke. So that's another, I think, key element to the lap putter. So I almost want to say you're more likely to benefit from the technology that lap putter offers when you go through a fitting. There is a caveat though. There's a big lead time. Like you almost have to get fit for it, order it, and then kind of forget about it, and then it'll show up to your door. That we have to kind of, hopefully Lap can figure out the lead time a little bit. But that's one caveat. But I think that's the benefit of, hey, if you're gonna get a 600 putter, 700 putter, it can get up to even more if you have different shafts. Get the lie angle and length you need to play.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I would just really strongly suggest that. Another thing is their putter grips.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about their putter grips?
Right. So their putter grips are interesting in the terms of they have a slanted insert. There's an angle that is not perpendicular to the grip hole. It's actually slanted. So that is to support the fact that the shaft of the L.A.B putters have built-in shaft
lean.
So the shaft is not only tilted towards you, but it's actually tilted towards the target as well. So this is something that, it could be a myth, or it could be an urban legend in golf, but forward press helps tend to create less skid off the face of the ball. So skid is where you technically see the ball doesn't spin at all. So almost there might be some little backspin, or if not, it just stays really, really still, almost like floating, and then it starts to roll forward. So that amount of skid is usually what we try to minimize when we do putter fittings, like really, really accurate putter fittings. And forward press is something that we think that helps minimize that skid. So good putters, a lot of good putters, you can see videos of a lot of good putters out there, especially on tour and historically, they do a little forward press when they putt. And so what L.A.B did, I think, is to try to implement that without you having to try to force yourself doing that. It already gives you a sense that it is forward pressed.
Forward press, yes.
And so in order to facilitate that shaft lean, the grips now have a little different way of going in, so that the grips are now actually perpendicular to the ground.
I think that's brilliant. So hopefully we can show that to our viewers here real quick. But if you look at it's like upside down. But if you look at the grip, I'll probably have to zoom in even more. Here's our best attempt to show you what we're talking about. So there you go. So if you look at the diameter of this grip,
it is not in the center.
It's not in the center. So it's kind of on this side.
Yes.
And this grip that starts off here will end up
on the other side.
On this side. Right? So actually it goes up this side.
This way,
I mean, we're going to have a graphic for you to for you to look at, but basically it allows for forward press. Without you even thinking about it. So a lot of different technologies and different ways to help you putt better. So
they've thought about a lot of different things.
I think we gotta give them credit, and I think people are noticing it definitely. So a lot of pros are adapting to it, and a lot of amateurs are adapting to it. So we recommend, obviously, again, to get fitted when you are buying for anything. But even more so when it comes to L.A.B putters, and that's what I would recommend. So we talked about like zero torque, L.A.B putters specifically, the importance of fitting, but let's go through some of their models. So what are some of their models?
So we'll start with the Link.
The Link.
Yes, the Link is probably the most traditional type of blade, so to speak. It's definitely heavier. I think it's heavier than the other models. But yeah, the one thing that I think a lot of people have some sort of problem with L.A.B is that they look funky. Like it's not conventional whatsoever, right? I mean, the DF3,
funky is a nice way of saying it.
I was being nice. I was being nice. You know, you could put it in a lot of different ways, but it's not conventional, right? So for those people, they had models like this before. I think L.A.B had like something called the BB.
Like where it looks just a block of metal,
right. But now the streamlined models, now they have the Link one.
It looks good. I think I would probably, if I were to play L.A.B putter, I would probably play this because it looks the most similar to my putter, and it has all the technology that we just talked about in other things. So that's the Link. What's the second one we can talk about?
And the second one, I think it would be the DF3.
DF3?
Yeah.
There you go.
So this is where it starts getting funky. Right? So this one, some people call it a spaceship. Some people call it a squid.
Squid. That's what Koreans call it. I don't know why they call it a squid, but I guess it looks like a squid.
But yeah, this one is the more forgiving model, right? So the more MOI, the more weight you have further away from the face, you have more MOI, and it's more forgiving for off-centered hits. And so this is the smaller, I would guess the more modernized version of the original DF 2.1. So that one is this just
really
blown up.
really
And that one is like the logo of
that's the lap putter.
golf.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
that one is like, oh my god, I can't putt with that.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yes.
were like, what is that?
Yeah. So I think the key word here is forgiveness.
Yes.
So a lot of people ask, hey, like, how should I choose a different models? If you want all the technology that we just talked about are in all of these models, but if you want more forgiveness, like maximum forgiveness, this is the one to go. Okay. So if you really suck at putter, go with this one.
If you have trouble, finding the center of the face, then go for more MOI, go for the bigger.
Yes.
Yeah, there's no shame in it.
Yes.
There's absolutely no shame.
Oh,
in it.
no shame. This is the Mez Max putter. So this happens to be one of our fitting ones. So basically, this kind of looks like the number 7 from Odyssey. A lot of putter companies have this shape. It still looks different, but this is kind of the number 7 look. So it has a little bit more forgiveness than the Link.
Right.
But it also doesn't look as big.
Right.
So a lot of people go here.
Yeah. It's very simple, minimalistic in terms of like it has sharp edges.
Right.
If you're into that, if that helps you align, the putter face to the ball, then go for it. This is the model that you'd want.
Yeah. And there's also Mez 1, which is a smaller version.
It's a smaller version of this.
If I put it side by side with the Mez 1 and the Mez Max, I personally don't see that big of a difference. So I think we sell more Mez Maxes because I think it offers a little bit more forgiveness than the Mez 1.
The forgiveness is definitely there because if you look at the other side on the bottom, the weights, how the weights are distributed.
Exactly.
The Mez Max is definitely much more towards the perimeter of the club.
You're right. You're right. And then we have the newest one, right?
Yes. Now we have
the
Oz 1.
Is it Oz 1 or is it OZ 1?
OZ 1? Well, I mean,
Oz 1.
I guess you can put it any way you want. Like these names, I don't know where they come from. But
I think Oz comes from it being designed by Adam Scott.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I thought.
Australian.
Yeah, it was like an Aussie.
If we're wrong, let us know in the comment there.
Yeah. So this one particular is, so now they have an insert. One thing about L.A.B putters is that they're made out of not steel, but it's actually some aluminum. Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah, if you have a magnetical towel, then it won't stick.
Yeah.
That is one thing that you really do need to know, that it doesn't stick on the putter head. Yeah. This one though, but they've been getting feedback because aluminum is much more softer than steel. So they've been getting feedback that it doesn't feel as sturdy as a steel putter would be. So they put in an insert, and so this is a steel insert. It actually has milling, more traditional milling, like your Scotty Cameron or whatnot would have. But they also do have a version that doesn't have the insert as well. So it's now become an option. So if you're still into that softer feeling of the aluminum other putters, then you can go that way as well. Yeah.
That one's Aussie 1 and this is Aussie 1I for insert. And the way, if anybody asks, obviously the preference of a feel at impact is what's going to be most different. They also say because this is an insert, and it provides firmer feel, it could potentially add more ball speed. So if you are someone who always your misses are short, this can potentially help you more than the Aussie 1 model. So Adam Scott designed it, so he uses it. Also, different colors are available. On almost all of these, I think. Except for Link, all the custom, you can pick alignments and things like that. So that's that. Did we talk about all the models? I think we did.
I think we covered all the models.
And then before we talk about the last bit that I think is really interesting is that you actually gained this putter.
Yes.
Let's talk about shafts real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that's another thing that's a little bit different. And people can get confused about it. And since there's the last video you're going to watch on L.A.B putter, we cannot overlook the shaft.
Exactly.
So the stock shafts, as you can see here, it's black, but this is actually steel.
Yes.
That's painted black. So this is just like a normal
stepped putter shaft.
Which is great. But if you go through other options that are available in the putter, what are What are they?
So we have the Acra shaft.
Acra shafts.
Then there's a Gears shaft.
Gears shaft.
Then there's a TPT.
TPT shaft.
I don't know right now. Do they have the stability one?
They don't.
They don't.
They come in and out.
Okay,
so depending on when you see this video, it might be available. You have it in yours, right? Stability.
So I have the older version. I have the stability shaft, not the stability one.
Okay.
So they're kind of like a different shaft.
Okay.
But yeah.
If you can't tell by now, he's definitely a gear. Gearhead right there. So basically, I'll explain a couple of the benefits of the graphite shafts. Basically, it's because it's lighter and it's usually the graphite at impact offers more feel. Yeah. So maybe you're sensitive to feel, maybe you're not, but it's definitely something a lot of people, if you are like focusing on the feel, you can definitely tell the difference between the steel shaft and a graphite. Yeah. So you're going to get more feel out of the graphite shafts. And then you also had mentioned that some of these shafts are seamless, right?
Right, yeah. So the Gears shaft is made in a way that they don't have a seam or a spine or certain spine on the shaft. The Acra shaft, well, in most general cases, graphite shafts are made by having a sheet and they roll it. Yeah. So at one point, the two ends have to meet, and because of that, there's a little bit of overlap or seam or whatever. And because of that, there tends to be a so-called spine in the shaft. So that depending on how you align that shaft in the club, you might have some variances. If you put it in one way, it might feel firmer, whereas if you put it in the other way, it might feel softer. So there is a little bit of variance that comes with graphite shafts. Yeah. Very geeky. Yeah. But this is the
if you want, basically, if you want like the best option out of the best, more, because TPT shaft, which you will see on tour almost
pretty much everyone
time,
I think all the guys
are like those are the seamless shaft. Can we say that these are pured in some sort?
In a way, yeah. So you don't need to pure them is pretty much what it is. Yeah.
You would get
you don't need to find a spine because you won't find one. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's what you will find in these shafts. So again, I think almost all the tour pros use the TPT shafts. I think so. But consider it like steel shaft is good. And the more upgrades that you give to these putters is basically better and best, like good, better, best. Yeah. Like consider it that way. I think you'll find benefits in all of that. So
just a quick thing. My personal experience with the TPT putter shaft was that there was very, very minimal feedback in terms of oscillation. So
because you couldn't tell if you're hit off center.
I mean that too, but almost like there was no resonation that comes from like a normal steel shaft. Like there was almost like no vad vibe.
Bad vibe.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was very odd. It was like oh. It wasn't like, it was like, very clean and quiet and calm. Okay. Yeah, that is how I felt
interesting.
The TPT shaft. Okay. Yeah. And it was firm at the same time. It wasn't like whippy or anything. It was very firm, but it was very responsive. But it wasn't like you get that like zing kind of feel. It was very quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Cool. So if you're into that stuff, then
you
should check it out. Yeah.
Whatever that was, Jay. All right. Yeah. I think we've covered almost all the questions that we usually get. Again, we recommend that you try these out and get fit for it. We'll leave all the information to the way you can get fit for them here at Yes Golf. But you use this putter.
I do.
Hey.
Yes.
You work here, and even before you work here, you've probably experimented with a lot of equipment, more than like anybody that I know.
Yes.
So tell me why you chose whatever. Show us your putter.
So my putter is the.
Ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that.
Is the Mez
looks great.
1. So this is not the Max, it's just the normal Mez. Yeah. And this one. It's the heavier head, so there's 3 options. You can get standard or lighter, or you can get heavier. This one is the heavier head.
Do you know how much heavier it is than standard?
I don't know the exact weight.
I know it's not much.
But it's not that much.
Yeah.
I think it's under 10 grams.
Yeah, 10 or 15 grams is what I know as well.
But yeah, in the shaft, I have a stability tour shaft. So this was one of the original shaft offerings that they had earlier on.
Yeah.
They don't offer it now anymore. They have a different version of this. If they do, it's called the Stability 1. It's just one shaft. But I've been playing this shaft for a long time, and I just like the feel of the combination in between, like how it's set up. I am generally a pretty decent putter.
Yeah.
So that's where I get.
We have no way to prove that.
No way
right
to
now.
prove it. But
maybe we'll do some field content.
Yeah,
and then we'll
I'm a pretty decent putter, and I can tell you with confidence that my playing partners, a lot of people that have played with me, have converted into a L.A.B.
That's right.
I was also converted into a L.A.B. by a playing partner. He first started using it, my friend, and then I was like, I just can't. I don't like it. I don't like how it looks. But it was just making buckets after buckets, and I tried it, and I was like, this is actually not bad. It feels pretty good. So I got fitted. I then got this. I actually got this custom done. I have to shout out to L.A.B. because I sent them the shaft and the head separately, and they did the whole installation and balancing for me. So and they're great. I mean, the guys at L.A.B. they're responsive, very, very friendly. So yeah, I got my putter and making buckets with this. Yeah.
Now that I think about, there were a lot of customers of ours that came and said they're getting fitted for L.A.B. and I asked them, how did you come? And then, I was just playing with this guy.
It all starts like that.
And it's this guy. Well, I think again, like it's. I personally, I haven't made the switch yet because I am one of those person who likes to have a little bit of a
rotation or
release. Yeah. And that tends to help me. What's something that's really funky about my putting is that I actually use different parts of the putter face to putt.
Yes.
So if I have a side hill putt, like if it's left to right, and I know it's gonna break a lot right, I usually line it up on the toe. So that I almost put a draw on it, so it doesn't. And same thing the other way. If it's a right to left putt, if it's a short putt, I tend to put it on the heel side of it, and then just play less break. That helps a lot for me. So I think it will almost hurt me if I go this way.
Yeah. I mean, so the thing with L.A.B. putters is that there is a period where you need to get used to, especially if you're coming from the school of traditional putters, then there is a learning curve.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not that long, but there is a learning curve. But once you get over that, then putting becomes a lot more simple.
Yeah.
That's how I would put it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think the fact that we have to do a what's in the bag of Jay, but I'm gonna call it out. It's the most interesting what's in the bag content you'll ever see on YouTube. I'm calling it out. I know there's a lot of like big YouTubers out there, and we're like small compared to that, but this guy has like one of the most interesting what's in the bag. Anyways, but the fact that you use this, I think it's a testament to the technology and what they say that this putter is. Yeah. And I think a lot of people can benefit from that. So, hey, what we would love is a lot of your questions. Leave it down on this, on the comment, and we would love to see questions, and we would love to see a community build in this channel so that people can answer each other's questions and we can chime in and things like that, and we can continue to grow and develop this channel. Well, because you've subscribed, we are north of 500 subscribers. Way to go, Jay. Great job. And we are looking forward to getting to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Yep. I think we'll get it done pretty soon. So if you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe now, and we'll see you on our next video. See you guys. Bye.